Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough malnourished is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war.
So let me keep going, right? So New York masks this beautiful picture that New York is thriving, it's doing well, businesses can open back up, but yet the thousands of homeless people, we're not testing them, we're not treating them. So trains are closed, so now during the night, everybody's up and roaming around, crime rate goes up, right? What happens during the day? During the day now, when thousands of commuters are going to work, we're forced to stand next to someone who was tired, justifiably, I'm gonna give them that, because I was there at one point. Who was tired, hungry, no hope, who hasn't had a shower in weeks, had to walk around all night in the rain.
Nasty. It's nasty.
Jaw-dropping video posted to his Facebook page by MTA employee Flaco Balde. Scores of sleep.
And then they have the nerve to talk about raising fare prices. Because that's how America deals with addiction. If we close our eyes long enough, if I don't hear it, if I don't see it, it's not there. It's here, guys. It's here. And we've got to figure out a way to do better at addressing it. Right? So I'm calling everybody out. Bill de Blasio, Andrew Cuomo, you guys, in any other place, right, but in American government, if you don't do your job, you get fired. How the hell are these people still in office? How are they still in office? Just make it make sense, somebody. Somebody, please make it make sense. I will give my last dollar, right, if somebody can truthfully help me understand how the hell you have thousands of people out there on the street, right, who are struggling, who are sick, who are suffering. And our best thing to do is to repurpose people that already have a fucking bed to sleep in. Mind you, the purpose of that was to keep COVID rates down. Ask any person that was in a homeless shelter in December of 2019 how long they were sick for. Whew. I feel like I should pause and drink some water now, huh? This is shit. This stuff, guys, that is serious. Like, this is some serious stuff that we don't address, and because we don't address it, because we close our eyes, shut off our ears, we don't talk about it. It's not really there. It's here. It's here, and it's real. It's here, and it's real. I know because I've experienced it. I've lived it. Okay. So, dealing with addiction, right? I'm talking more towards if you or someone you know has dealt with it, are dealing with it. This is more for you now, because I don't want to spend my whole segment complaining about the problem without offering somewhat of some kind of guidance and assistance. So on my website, first and foremost, jsbtrue.com, there are resources for addiction crisis intervention. Right, I put down the best of the best programs, the best of the best free legal advice, the best of the best shelters, the best of the best lawn care treatment centers. And these are every single place on my website I've used personally. Right? So I'll never endorse something that I don't think is top notch. And so that list on my site is, again, something that I've used near and dear. There's about, I think, 8 or 9 different links. You just click a link and it'll bring you directly to that organization website and their contact information, okay? So I encourage you, again, this is for those that are or know someone that's going through some things right now, right? So the first thing that we need to start to talk about with addiction is, all right, so I'm an active user, and I want to get to where I need to be. I don't want to be this addict anymore. I don't want to be, on the streets anymore. I don't want to, live like this anymore. I'm without a hope and without a prayer. So what do I do? First thing is just shut the hell up. You got to stop. You got to stop what you're doing, right? And you got to shut your brain off for a second. You can't process something new while you're processing something chaotic. It's not going to happen. So you got to get out of the idea, the pity me idea. You got to get out of the mentality of, embarrassment, right? Because believe it or not, right, the embarrassment was when you were actively using and acting a fool on the street. That's when they were looking at us like we were crazy. When we started seeking help is when the respect and the love and the compassion and the empathy comes. I promise you, I've lived it, right? And again, every case is not the same, so I can only tell you from my experience. And from the thousands of people that I've come into contact with, whether it was being in a program together at the same time or me assisting someone who was going through what I went through, right? So you got to stop what you're doing. You got to get out of your head. You got to just relax for a second. No, this is not the time to be, woe is me. I don't have any money. I don't have any food, right? There is one place on there that, on my website, that I would encourage everyone, whether you're in an addiction situation or not, anyone that's in homeless situation, the Coalition for the Homeless is one of the best resources that you can use in the city. One of the best, right? I say one of the because you guys know my feelings about dope. So I would encourage you that if you have issues, call the Coalition. They can either help you or point you in the right direction, right? So the next thing is, all right, why do they say there's no cure for addiction? All right? One of the reasons why I personally don't do any of the anonymous groups is because I don't believe there's no cure for addiction. Because I don't believe that it's a disease. I personally believe that addiction is a state of mind. It's a state of being that we can all get out of. Because if you look at the two definitions, right, they pretty much coincide in a sense that they're saying that someone is dependent on something else, right? Someone is dependent on something else, but on top of it, that something else is unhealthy for them. If you go by my summation of it, right, everybody's addicted to something. So everybody has a disease of some sort. It doesn't add up for me. So I believe that it's a state of mind. I believe that it's a condition in which we're taught not to be able to process. I'm going to say that again. I believe, Justin Adam Smith believes, that addiction is a condition that we are taught not to be able to process. And because we are taught not to be able to, that tells me that there's an ability to reverse that, right? And here's why. Because of Newton's 3 laws, right? Now, at this point, I know somebody's shaking their head like, what the hell is he about to say? Justin, I know I'm going to get a call from especially one of my supporters, my personal supporters, like, what the hell was that, Justin? Newton's laws? I'm going to explain why, all right? Now, sit down and relax for a second because this is going to be out there, right? So, the first law is, first law is, if a body is at rest or moving at a constant speed in a straight line, it will remain at rest or it will keep moving at that constant speed in a straight line until something comes and disrupts that. Let's break that down for a second, right? And let's relate it to our addiction for a second. If a body at rest, I'm going to simplify it. If a body at rest is at rest, or if a body is at rest, it'll stay at rest unless something comes and disrupts it. In a nutshell, that's what the first law is, right? So that's effective for 2 reasons, right? The first reason is that before you were in your addiction, you were headed down a path. Something came and disrupted that. Right? That's the first one. The second thing is that while you were in your addiction, while we were in our addiction, right, we stayed in our addiction because nothing that was forceful enough came in to move that. So how do we overcome that? Newton has the second law. The second law says that if a net force acts on an object, it will cause an acceleration of that object. This is the law of cause and effect, right? But I can't offer a solution without giving you the third law, right? The third law, right? And you guys can blow your mind if you don't know this, is that for every action, there is an opposite or equal reaction. Holy cow. So what you're saying to me, what I'm understanding right now with Newton's law is that if I am at rest, if I am in a comfortable, content state of mind, and nothing comes and disrupts that, I'm going to stay there, whether that content comfortability is sleeping in a homeless shelter, sleeping outside on the train, or at a top tier Fortune 500 company. If I'm comfortable where I am, then something has to come much bigger than my state of mind to move me out of that. Because in order for me to be moved, right, there has to be something greater than me that moves me, right? Because I know that if something equal to me comes, we're on the same playing field. Holy shit. Hear what I just said? You can stop the video right now, rewind it if you want to, but think about what I just said, right? We have, one of the things I like about the Bible is that because I believe that it's true, because I choose to follow Christ, right? I love when I'm talking about something and a verse comes in my head like there's nothing new under the sun. I feel like we have all the answers, already. We just haven't opened up our psyches yet, our energy, our spiritual levels to receive those answers. Newton's laws are not new, right? We just use them the way that we're taught to use them, right? So let's think out the box. Let's think outside of the box, right? And let's say that applies to addiction. All right, so cool. So we know now that something, it ultimately comes down to something and someone, right? Whoa. Addiction comes down to something and someone. The entire premise of any spiritual entity, any religion, if you will, it all boils down to relationship, right? And unless you can prove otherwise, that's what I'm going by. Because every single book that deals with that particular religion or spirituality talks about relationship. Whether it's a relationship between you and the higher power, whether it's a relationship between you and another person, whether it's a relationship between you and an object, they all talk about relationship. It all sums up to relationship. And so some can be said with energy, right? There are people that you can, I can walk into a room with and their energy like really lifts my spirits. There are people that I walk into a room with and my energy's like, my spirit's like, no, get the hell out of there, run. That's not your friend, So I say the relationship part for a reason. Because not one single person who has suffered with addiction got there on their own. We have this ability to always look only at the addict. And so this is important for me to say, and believe me, I've talked to, those in my family who needed to. So I talked to some people in my family who needed to hear this. So I'm going to say everything that's on my mind, right? So no one who's going through addiction got there on their own. Now, if you're going through addiction, you're not out of the woods yet, because I got a lot to say, right? But it all boils down to this. No one who is in active addiction, who wasn't in active addiction, got there by themselves. It helped, right? We've got to figure out now the root cause of why, Justin, why do you like to drink? Why do you like to do drugs? Why do you like this stuff? Is that has to be the only justifiable reason for you doing it at this point, is because you like it. Or maybe, Justin, it's because you're escaping. This is the stuff that I'm talking to in my head about. Maybe you're trying to escape. What the hell are you trying to escape? Then you find the right person, the right counselor. For me in my situation, her name is Miss Wilson. I won't give you, the rest of her information without, her consent. But you find that right person that says, you know what? Maybe you're the problem. And I said, oh, shoot. And I know that's some harsh thing to say, and I know that we're in a culture now where we are overly sensitive to people because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Maybe you're the problem, and I don't mean maybe you're the cause. I never said you were the cause. I said maybe the problem. You're blocking yourself from being able to figure out that root cause. Talking to her and another counselor at a different facility at another point in my life, I realized that I couldn't address what the issue was because I didn't know what the issue was because I was too busy blocking myself from finding out what the damn issue was. Because we have it in our heads that the people that we've been around for so long, they don't really know us. You don't know me. I know myself better than anybody else. You know. So you got to find the root cause. In order to find the root cause, you got to get out your own way. You know, it's hard to drive a car, right? While looking at the road maps, while singing a song, while doing your makeup, while eating a sandwich, while, you know, painting your toenails. It's hard to multifunction in a capacity that requires your full attention. So we gotta get to the root cause. When I talked about the root causes of myself, my addiction, my problems, there was stuff that was brought up, right? In my dreams, in memories, I forgot. I had no idea. There was stuff I thought like that just surfaced. Where if I would have told myself, or if I would have said these things out loud to somebody, I would have convinced myself that I was lying to them. I would have convinced myself. Because when you start to clean something, right? Let's say when you get a pimple, I got one up there somewhere, right? When you squeeze a pimple, stuff comes out, right? But all the caked up stuff back there comes out. You see what I'm saying? When you have an abscess and the doctors drain you out wherever it is, whether it's in, you know, your mouth or you have, you know, like a cyst, they drain it to get all that stuff out, right? But they keep draining so that way they get all of it out, right? So in order to get to the root cause, you got to dig so deep. You got to dig deeper, right, than the worst day that you felt when you weren't using. Got to dig deeper than that. Because it's not enough to just deal with that surface addiction. That surface addiction. It's not enough. You got to dig so deep. I'm telling you, like, when I say you got to dig deep, you got to dig so deep that the next thing you want to do is go out and use. But just don't go out and use. All right? Now, once you've gotten to that point and you've addressed that root cause and you figure out that root cause, right? There's no other option. And I hate to be the one to break it to you. There's no other option than to accept what that root cause is, right? And learn ways to address it and to live knowing that you know what that root cause was. It's important to know because, and I say this often to my closest support system, and I know they hate when I say it, but I'm going to say it once more to you guys. A person cannot be unraped. A person cannot be unmolested. A person cannot be unabused. A person cannot be unemotionally, mentally, physically abused. So because you cannot erase it, you have to learn to accept that it happened and to learn ways to live with that knowledge. See, it's great, and it's so much easier to do than it is to say. And I know that what I just said, it's so much easier to do than it is to say. And I say that because a year ago, I couldn't say any of what I'm saying to you guys and be this worked up and mean it. A year ago, if I was saying this, I probably would have been high or drunk telling you, maybe 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's once you start to like put this in motion, put your addiction in motion, or your recovery in motion rather, you realize, holy shit, this is much easier than I thought it would be. And the reason why I say that is because once you got into that root cause, there's no worse place in recovery than getting to the surface of what caused you to get there. Anyone who's ever been addicted to something, who's ever had to overcome that, you tell me I'm lying. There's no worse place mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually than to be at that lower pit where you're bringing up all of it. Once you get through that, there's nothing in this world you won't conquer, right? And because of that, the next steps are going to be easier than you actually think they will be. And this is not for people who've done it 10, 20 times. This is some like, I really want to find out what the fuck's wrong with me. Right? That's what you got to do. So find out that root cause. after finding out the root cause, right, make sure, and maybe you should do this first, make sure you have someone or something to connect to. Listen, there was a long time for a while after getting to start to really work on myself that like I would talk to a voicemail of my little brother, and vent to him. But you know what? After I vented, I could take it off. I didn't have to wear it anymore. There came a point in the last year where I have developed a support system stronger than anything that I've ever developed in my life. Bigger than any company that I'll ever create, my support system. And getting it off and talking to them and just being like, you know what? Today's not the day. I'm not doing well today. Like I am mentally drained today. I am mentally tired. I'm emotionally tired. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't feel well. I need some rest. I need some space. You gotta find someone or something to connect to, right? This is probably one. They're all important. This is one that took me. It was hard for me to really grasp onto this, right? There's no right way to overcome addiction. Your place, your time, right? When you are genuinely ready. I have seen men, and women alike, but I've seen men 70, 80 years old, still in active use. And they come into the to a facility, right? They say, I want to change, and I want to get better, and this is the time. I don't know, the old anonymous group saying, I may not have one more in me. And then they do the same shit over and over again because they're not genuinely ready to change, and maybe they never will be. That's their close to where, not mine. Right? I'm talking to those that really genuinely want to be different, want to do different. You can. You just have to really work on doing that. And in order to work on being able to do it at your own pace, you have to get through that surface stuff first. Right? There's no one in this world. No one, not one person, not me, not the person you're sitting next to, not the person you're going to call after you hear me say all the stuff that I'm going to talk about. And I only have a couple more minutes and I'm going to stop. No one in this world can tell you how you feel. Not one person can tell you that. No one can tell you how you feel. You have to come up with that summation. The only way to do that, go back to step one, find out the root cause, have someone or something to confide in, and accept the facts. And don't exaggerate the facts. That's the next step. Is you gotta, us addicts, we are the most manipulative pieces of, we are so manipulative in active use. It's almost an art how manipulative an addict can be. But the thing that we fail to realize is that we weren't really manipulating anybody. People just felt bad for us. So you have to get to a point where that truth, right? They say you have three faces. I think it is one that you show everyone, one that you don't show everyone, and one that you...
Black skill and black, that is an understatement. The undertaker taking natural creations, this my proclamation. Standard innovation is the crowd absorb it. I move like planets orbit, tighter than the door shit when I flow like faucets. That's some bullshit. My team is moving cautious, never counting losses. Mumble rappers, actors, they got me nauseous. I'm something they can stomach like Elijah Muhammad. I'm not Islamic, but I bomb it. I watch them plummet. I plunder with words of thunder, cast them asunder. The knife wonder from the under. I bet you wonder about my artistry. None as hard as me. The God degree, gotta charge a fee like I'm a banker. And you landed on my property. This monopoly, you did it sloppily. Can't copy me, you're not a gangster. It must be some miscommunication. I never fell off, now I'm back. I was on vacation, meditating verbatim. Don't hate me, God made them. They say God love fools, but I annihilate them. It's complex, how I bomb for checks. I break arms and necks, no false alarm when I disarm your set.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, 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 war.
We've
revealing secrets of the universe to quench your thirst. You need to get a nurse, let's call her hearse, cause times got worse. I give life to a soulless being, for God is overseeing. Got devils fleeing, unnatural beings. Abomination, this confirmation. My observation, cause I got no patience, times is wasted. I shall proceed, the world is ruled by those who thirst for greed. They work us till the bone, until our fingers bleed. My slug spitting like a saxophone. You try to relax at home, mind your own, to lead pierce your dome. You niggas gangster till you called alone. Ain't no love in these streets, little nigga, your ass should've known. My beats are body him, knock him off your feet like a shotty. Hit him in a Bacardi, chillin', Bacardi sippin'. Nowadays these young niggas trippin', like my mother told me, they need an old-fashioned ass whipping.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough mind races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, 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 war.
Shapeshifters, hybrids, and reptilians gathered in the devil's den. Seal the deal in blood with the devil's pen. The cherub pen and the antichrist. It's a crisis. I might just blow their mic devices when I write this righteous, benevolent, wise, intelligent, sniping vipers. Then I rock them back and forth like they windshield wipers. The golden child, golden touch, like a Midas. I got them tight like arthritis while riders try to bite this. I'm too strategic, leave them crippled like they quadriplegic. The God release it on the pedestal, they cannot reach it. I never share my thoughts with fools, that's not teaching. Silent war, the enemy, they're not breaching. I got perimeters, God scrimmager, finisher, light bearer, bring night terrors, the miniature. So eat your spinach, better get your veggies, because my team is ready, from South Sudan to the Serengeti.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough mind races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, 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 war.